Hello everyone, I'm Anne Boss. I'm thrilled to be here with you, with Steve, my esteemed colleague. Today we'll explore the transformative power of mindful breaks. Just to present me and know more about me, I am Anne Boss. I am a breathing behavior specialist, mindset expert, and strategy consultant, and I dedicate my life to help individuals cultivate inner resilience, find peace amidst the chaos, and live a life with purpose and passion. So today we will bring a powerful conversation with you, Steve, about mindful breaks and what is mindful breaks and how we can put mindful breaks in our daily life. And I just want to start with mindful breaks hold a special place in my heart. And because I've seen firsthand the incredible impact of they can have on our well-being. And these international pauses offer us a precious opportunity to step back from the business of life, reconnect with ourselves, and tap into a sense of inner calm and clarity. Enough of the tools for me, I often share with my clients. I start with that. It's a practice of conscious breathing as well, because I am a breathing behavior specialist. And by simply bringing awareness to our breath, we can ensure ourselves in the present moment, release tension and stress, cultivate a deeper sense of peace within. It's amazing how something as simple as focusing on how breathe can have such profound, deep effects on our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. But Steve, I'm very curious to hear how you view mindful breaks in the context of your work, in our daily life, how they enhance traditional therapeutic approach for our audience today. How can these moments of complement traditional therapeutic techniques and support individuals on their journey towards greater resilience and fulfillment?
There's a lot of great questioning in there, Anne. I want to say one thing before I go on to that. Every time I meet with you and we work together and you talk about being a breathing expert, which I know that you are, I become very conscious of my own breathing. So I have to think, right, am I breathing? Am I sitting correctly? Am I breathing correctly? Blah, 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 because I know there's a lot of things that matter. But I become more conscious because I'm looking at you across the screen, which I think is quite cool. So anyway, I just want to talk about the whole idea of taking breaks during our day. And it doesn't matter what you do. You may work as an engineer in a busy factory. You may work as a car mechanic, a teacher, a professor, although a professor is a teacher in France, but you know what I mean. So there's different jobs all over the place that people do, and all of them, when you say take a break, they would usually say, oh, well, I'm allowed 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon, and my lunch break, which is an hour or whatever it happens to be. And that is it. That is taking a break. It's a break that they're allowed to take. But with mindfulness and taking a break in mindfulness, you could take a break every 5 minutes and nobody would even know that you were doing it. So that is something very important to think about, because occasionally we do need to take breaks between tasks. We do need to take breaks when somebody hits us with a big challenge. We may need to take just a little break before responding to the challenge. Because one of the biggest problems, not the biggest, but one of the big problems that human beings have is that a challenge will hit us. Let's say it hits us on the right ear. And before it gets to the left ear, we're already responding. And perhaps we're not responding in the most productive and positive manner because we didn't stop. We didn't pause. We didn't take a breath before allowing ourselves to respond. So in what I just said in that minute or two, there's a whole load of stuff that we need to consider. So let's start by thinking of setting intention. There's a lot of research around about all of these things that we're talking about, by the way, but we can't really cite all of the research. Otherwise, all we're going to do is say in the Journal of Psychology, in the Journal of Social Psychology, and it's not going to be very interesting. But anybody who's interested in knowing where the research comes from, drop a comment or send us a direct message and we will respond and point you towards some of the research.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about setting intention. There was some research published in a psychological science journal. And the research have found that setting intentions to take breaks, enhances things like the pursuit of our goals, whatever they happen to be. It enhances our performance. So that's just two things. So by directing attention and effort towards specific actions or outcomes, by setting intentions, in other words, we're having two big wins.
Mm-hmm.
And that is huge. We don't realize how big those wins are. Now, what can we do? What am I talking about? Taking a break. So let's say, for example, Anne hits me with a really tricky question that I don't like for some reason or another. I don't want to respond instantly because that instant response may be an emotional response. I don't want to respond from my emotions. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to pause. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to take a breath in, hold the breath, and gently let the breath out. I'm not getting it all deep into breathing techniques. I'm just stopping and breathing. Stop and breathe. Stop and breathe. I may look around my room for a moment. What colors can I see? I can see blue. I can see a kind of a yellow. I can see white. I can see lilac and a few other colors over there to my right. I'm just noticing those things and breathing. And now I'm ready to answer the question. So I've taken a break. I've calmed down my emotional responses, because our emotional responses are quite dangerous if we're not careful, or they're not. So how does that fit with what you think about taking breaks, Anne?
Yeah, thank you. I believe that it's very powerful things that when before answer, before make a response, because we have the response is triggered by the emotional state, and sometimes you react because you don't take distance. You have to be far away the situation to give your response. So take a breath or observe the distance around you, and that's great. But for me, mindful breaks, it's more than just a moment of pause in our busy lives. It's invitations to reconnect with our essence of who we truly are, beings of love, joy, and infinite potential. And in the hustle, pardon, in the hustle and bustle of modern life, it's very easy to lose sight of this truth. We allow ourselves to be caught in the net of responsibility, expectations, distractions, and forgetting that our true happiness resides not in the external trapping of success, but in the depths of our own being. And mindful breaks offer us a precious opportunity to step out of this cycle of striving and simply be. They remind us to slow down, breathe, and savor the richness of the present moment. And in the gentle rhythm of our breath, we find a sanctuary of peace, a refuge for the chaos of the world, And I missed that the stillness, we discover the beauty of your own inner landscape, a landscape teeming with possibility, creativity, and boundless love. So during mindful breaks, we become attuned to the whispers of our words, the wisdom of our soul. We listen, truly listen to the quiet voice within that guides us towards our deepest desires and dreams. So we reconnect with our innate sense of worthiness and belonging, knowing that we are enough just as we are. So it's my point about mindful breaks is not just finding inner peace, it's also cultivating outer resilience, a space of stillness, replenishing our energy, rejuvenate our spirit, rekindle our zest for life. We emerge from this moment of pause with renewed clarity, focus, vitality, and ready to face whatever challenges may come on the way.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. But how do you feel? Now, this is a question that I frequently ask my clients. So they'll tell me about a challenge that came up. They will always tell me what emotions came up when the challenge hit. This happened and I felt angry and I felt frustrated and my brain was working so fast I couldn't think. My words came out of, you get the point. It goes on and on and on. What I usually do at that point is ask them to stop. Please just stop. Focus on your breathing for a moment. How do you feel right now in this moment? Not what you're thinking. I'm not interested for now in what you are thinking. How do you feel?
Yeah.
How do your fingers feel? Do they ache? Do they feel tight, tense? What about your neck and your shoulders, chest, your abdomen, and so on? How do you feel? And people explain how they feel, and quite often it's nice to watch because you can kind of see their eyes opening like, oh my goodness, this is what I'm feeling. Because we don't often enough take those breaks to consider what's going on in our body. Because, and we can't cover this today for sure, there is a massive relationship between the mind and the body. And in that relationship, we can cause all kinds of damage if we're not aware of what's going on. Why does stress happen? Not what is stress, why does stress happen?
Oh, I have something about that, Steve.
You have a question, you have an answer for that, right? Go for it.
I had the three alarm of the body, you know, the three steps. The body sends you a first sense of feeling, first sense. And the first you don't listen to. Okay. The body sends you a second alarm and say, okay, be careful. If you don't listen to me, I will bring you more emotion, more pain. And the third steps of the alarm brings more pain, bring illness. And I hear a lot of story about that, a lot of my clients, a lot of family. They didn't listen to their body. And the third alarm was so sorry, but at the hospital. By the fact. So it's very important to our audience, to you, how listen to us, to listen to your body just 1 second by your daily life on your day. Just listen, how do you feel? How do you feel? And when you just be aware about how do you feel in this moment right now, you listen to you. And it's the first part of the awareness, the first part of mindful breaks that you can take. So let's continue, Steve. Sorry to interrupt
don't
you.
be sorry, because that is a perfect example of what I was talking about. So one of the other things that people often fail to consider, I'm just going to tell a really quick story about, I used to work a long time ago for British Aerospace, you know, the guys that make military aircraft and all that stuff. And where I worked was the factory where they built the aircraft. So all the metal, all the stuff that goes to make the aircraft was all put together in this factory. So to be able to do that, of course, it was a very, very big factory. To walk from one end to the very far end took at least 20 minutes walking quickly. So that gives you a kind of idea how big this place was. So when I went, and we called it the shop floor, I worked above the shop floor in an office. So when I had to go to the shop floor and walk, I would always be focused on what I was doing, not what I might be doing next week or what I was doing yesterday. What I was doing right now, I would just be thinking about it, nothing great. If I was feeling stressed, I would just look at the lines, the yellow lines down the floor where you couldn't go beyond the yellow lines. So I'd focus on the yellow lines. Or I would focus sometimes on the noise of some of the machinery. Some of it was quite interesting. It wasn't like, oh, I've got to put my hands over my ears. So you would focus on something and just be there in that particular moment until I got to my destination. And once I arrived at the destination, I would just do what I had to do. And that was that. That in itself, that journey was a break. It was a break because my mind wasn't worried about the orders I had to make in the office, which was quite complicated and time consuming. And it was a little bit boring as well, you know, so there was a lot of stuff that went with that. So I would escape from that by taking those little mindful breaks. At that time, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was 18 years old or so. So I wasn't really aware of it. It was just something I did. And I'm glad that I did it because it was valuable. It made a difference. I was observing also me. How did I feel when I was walking? Was I walking quickly? Was I walking slowly? We weren't allowed to walk too quickly because that was dangerous. So we'd have to keep a sensible pace. So there was all kinds of things that I was noticing about me, my body, what was going on in my mind was almost secondary to all of that. That came back, as I said, when I arrived at my destination. So I'm taking a break by walking. I know somebody in Canada who takes mindful breaks by watching the lines on the road as she walks down a long, long road. So she focuses on the yellow lines at the side or the white dotted lines in the middle. I think the white dotted lines. She focuses on street signs, give way, stop, all those things, traffic lights. She just walks and focuses on the signs and doesn't think about anything else. And she always says that when I go back to my work after that, I feel refreshed. That's cool. That's so simple.
That's cool.
So simply stupid. So why don't more of us do it? And that's because we're spending too much time in our heads and we don't wish to let go. We're holding on to our emotions as opposed to just being there in the moment and allowing the moment to unfold as it so naturally does. There's a good argument as well. There's a Buddhist story about people when it's raining. So it's been raining here today. So I know there are some people in this village where I live who will not go out because it's raining. They absolutely will not. No way. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So they don't go out because it's raining. But is it not better to say, I don't know what the weather's doing right now. Oh, look, it's raining. Well, by the time I get out, it may carry on raining. It may not. It may be sunny. Does it really matter that much? Or do we make it matter by the way we think about it? There's something to think about.
Interesting.
How much does it matter? You know, so Anne, have you got more? I know you've got more to say.
When you talk about raining, about the sun, about the climate outside, I think that a lot of people believe that they believe things that they cannot do something because of that. It's excuse. And you can find a lot of excuse in life to not to do something. But I want to share something, because when we talk about mindful breaks, a lot of people think that it's not possible for us because they don't believe on the power of meditation. They cannot meditate because they have so much noise in their heads. And that's the reason why a lot of people brings burnout in their lives and are totally in troubles in their mental health. And mindful breaks that anyone can incorporate in their daily routine. It's, as you say, mindful observation. Just take a moment to notice something in your environment that you don't usually pay attention. It could be a texture, a surface, a color, a flower, a sound of a bird, for example, and simply observe, and without judgment or analysis. Just be an observer. You can take for a walk in a park and observe and listen, and without judgment. And just to notice the color, the sun. It's a mindful breaks. And you can take also a deep breath, of course, to take a deep breath through your nose and exhale slowly from your mouth, and repeat this a few times. It's quick and effective to center yourself and release tension. And a thing that I love to share when we talk about mindful breaks, it's about mindful eating. Why is it important? Because a lot of people eat very quickly and don't pay attention of their eating. And when you're eating a meal or snack, take a moment to really savor each sensation, each meal that you put in your mouth. Notice the flavor, the texture, the sensations in your mouth. And eating mindfully can help you feel more satisfied and present. And for sure, you will lose some weight because you eat less than before when you eat mindfully. You can take stretch break. Also, stand up and do a simple stretch with your body. Reach your arms overhead and bending forward to touch your toes if you can. It's just pay attention to your body feels as you stretch, and take a moment to appreciate this moment. Another tips that I can share for the audience is gratitude practice. Take a moment to think about 3 things you are grateful for the right now, just now, like a sunny day, a cup of coffee, very good, a smile, a loved one. Just very simple things. Bring a smile to another person and just be gratitude for the moment that you share with the person you cross in the street. Because practicing gratitude can help shift your perspective and bring more positivity into your day. And for all people who don't meditate, who want to learn to meditate, it exists a powerful 1-minute meditation. Just close your eyes for just 1 minute and focus on your breath. Just focus on your breath and notice the sensation of the air entering and leaving your nostril. And whenever your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your breath. These simple tools, techniques can be easily integrated into your daily life. Even if you are a pragmatic person who is always on the go, they don't require a special equipment a lot of time, but they can have a big impact on your overall well-being. So why not give them a try and see how they work for you? Picture this, Steve. You're having a crazy busy day at work, feeling stressed out and overwhelmed. But what if I told you that taking just 1 minute to breathe mindfully could help. You know that, Steve. But imagine stepping away from your desk for a moment, finding a quiet spot and taking a few deep breaths. In just 16 seconds, you feel calmer and more focused. You gain more clarity for your work. And you feel totally different than before. That's the power of mindful breaks for me. For everyone, simple moments of pause that can make a big difference on how you feel. So give it a try today and see for yourself.
Yeah, that's brilliant advice. Absolutely right. And as I said at the beginning, there's a lot of research evidence to show that stuff works, to show that stuff reduces and relieves stress, for example, among other things. So there are things that need to be listened to. I've got a really simple one. I may have shared this last week, and I'm not going to apologize if I did, because it's one of my favorites. All you've got to do is focus on your breathing, any breathing style that feels comfortable, and just let it flow. Make a circuit, and then look at the sky. So if you're in my office, I've got to look up to the window up there, and I can see the sky, and I just look at the sky. Nothing else. I don't judge. If it's cloudy, it's cloudy. It is what it is. If it's blue, it's blue. I just look at the sky, focus on breathing, and after probably a minute, not more, back to work or back to whatever it is that I'm doing. That small exercise has benefits that are almost unbelievable. The first time I heard of it, I thought, maybe this will work, maybe it won't. I tried it, and I've not stopped doing it since then. You can do it on the train, on the bus, sitting on the beach. You can do it anywhere. It's a really good exercise. And even people who say to me, but Steve, I work in an office that doesn't have windows. No problem. You've got a computer. You've got YouTube. Find the sky. You can find it. You look. You know, that's one of the benefits that we have today that we didn't have 20 years ago or whatever.
And nobody see you. Nobody see you. You can take a moment for you, and nobody see that you take a mindful breaks.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a perfect way to take a break. So taking a break matters. It does all kinds of things. It stops us from responding from our emotions, because we all know that sometimes responding from our emotions isn't a good thing for us. It's not good for us. It's not good for the people around us. Sometimes, of course, we have to respond to things from our emotions. But we need to know the difference between when we can and when we shouldn't, or when we do and when we shouldn't. So think about it in that way. So there's all kinds of benefits. And as I said, it's all research-based. So if you want to know where the research comes from, drop us a message, send a direct message, an email, a comment, whatever you can do to get in touch with us, and we will respond. Anne, would you like to finish?
No, just remember the power of mindful breaks in your busy day. And if you want to learn more, if you have questions, feel free to reach out Steve or me. And don't forget to subscribe for our YouTube channel for more tips and insights. And leave a comment below and let us know how mindful breaks have impacted your life. We would love to hear from you what you try to do for yourself. And thank you, Steve, for this moment, for this interesting conversation that we have. And I hope that for our audience today, we'll bring some inspiring breaks, inspiring moment that they can bring in their daily life, and very simple moment for mindful breaks. So
Perfect.
Thank you, Steve. If you want to tell more, something else.
No, that's all for today. Thank you, Anne. It's been
Thank
good
you.
to be here as usual, and we'll be back again at about the same time next week. Take care,
Yes.
everyone. See you later.